Breaking news! Good news coming for the Denver Broncos, and I'm here to tell you all about it. It's great to see our team evolving. Bo Nix has brought new hope to Sean Payton. Just thinking that in 2023 we were suffering from Russell Wilson's disagreements. Thank goodness things are getting better. We've made it to the 2024 playoffs, and this is just the beginning of a new era. Now in this new season, Sean wants to make it to the Super Bowl. I believe we have the ability to make it there. If you believe so too, hit the like button hard. If possible, comment like this: Go Broncos! Go Knicks! Let's go to the Super Bowl. Now, pay close attention to what I'm about to say. The Denver Broncos just got a big boost from the NFL, and this could set them up for a great offseason. The league announced an increase in the 2025 salary cap, bringing it to a projected range of $277.5 million to $281.5 million. That's a jump of as much as $10 million from previous estimates, and for a team like the Broncos, that extra cap space could be a game changer. Before this news broke, Denver was expected to have about $34.7 million in cap space. Now, with the cap increase, that number jumps to approximately $41.7 million. On the surface, this may seem like an equal boost for all 32 teams, but the reality is that some franchises, like the Broncos, are in a much better position to capitalize on this than others. Why? Ownership and spending philosophy. Denver's ownership group, led by the Walton-Penner family, operates on a different financial footing than most teams. Unlike organizations that treat their teams as their core business, the Broncos are just a small part of a much larger empire. That means their owners aren't constrained by the cash flow issues that limit other teams when it comes to handing out massive guaranteed contracts. To understand why this matters, look at how certain teams, like the Philadelphia Eagles and Cleveland Browns, structure their deals. They take advantage of the ability to backload contracts, spreading cap hits over multiple years while giving players hefty guaranteed money up front. The Eagles have been able to pay top-tier talent like A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and Jalen Hurts while still making aggressive moves in free agency. The Browns use a similar approach, thanks to a front office that understands how to manipulate the cap. Now, the Broncos are positioned to follow the same blueprint. In last year's free agency cycle, the Walton-Penner Group showed they weren't afraid to spend aggressively. This cap increase means they can continue that trend without facing major financial roadblocks. The organization can now be more flexible with contract structures, offering the kind of deals that attract top-tier free agents. Not every team can do this. Some franchises, like the Cincinnati Bengals, have historically been reluctant to offer large guarantees or backload contracts. Instead, they claim that re-signing key players is financially impossible when, in reality, it's just a matter of how their ownership operates. The Bengals have been hesitant to commit big money to T. Higgins, even though teams like the Eagles are comfortably paying multiple star receivers while also carrying a highly paid quarterback. The Raiders are another team that might struggle in this new landscape. Unlike the Walton-Penner Group, Mark Davis and his family rely heavily on the team's success for financial stability. They don't have other billion-dollar revenue streams to fall back on, which makes it harder for them to hand out major guaranteed contracts. For Broncos fans, this is a massive win. The team already has an ownership group willing to spend, a front office that's proven aggressive, and now more cap space to work with. This opens the door for big moves in free agency, whether that means locking in key players, pursuing impact signings, or structuring deals in a way that maximizes flexibility for the future. The salary cap itself is set to keep rising, and streaming deals are playing a huge role in that. The NFL recently sold 2 games to Netflix for $150 million, and the success of that move has only fueled more interest from streaming giants. Peacock paid $110 million for a single playoff game, and international matchups, like those in Brazil, Germany, and soon Australia, are becoming exclusive streaming events. Why does this matter for the Broncos? Because the more revenue the league generates, the higher the salary cap will climb. And teams that are aggressive spenders, like Denver, stand to benefit the most. This is a franchise that has undergone a dramatic transformation in just a few years. From the Vic Fangio era to a new ownership group, a Super Bowl winning head coach in Sean Payton, and now a financial advantage that puts them ahead of many other teams in the league. The Broncos are in a position to make serious moves. So now, Broncos country, it's your turn. What do you think Denver should do with this extra cap space? Should they target a big-name free agent? Focus on re-signing key players? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts. With the Broncos positioned to take full advantage of this salary cap increase, the big question now is, how will they spend it? Last offseason, we saw the Walton Penner ownership group flex their financial muscle in free agency. They went all in, signing players like Mike McGlinchey and Ben Powers to hefty contracts, proving that money was no obstacle when it came to improving the roster. Now, with an extra $7 million added to their cap space, expect them to be just as aggressive in this year's free agency cycle. But who should they target? One area Denver could look to address is the defensive line. The Broncos struggled at times last season to generate consistent pressure, and adding a disruptive pass rusher could be a priority. The extra cap space allows them to go after a high-impact player rather than settling for bargain bin options. Another position to watch is the offensive line. While McGlinchey and Powers were major additions last year, there's still room for improvement, especially when it comes to depth. Injuries along the O-line have been a problem in recent years, and investing in more talent could help protect whoever is under center for the Broncos in 2025. Speaking of quarterback, could this extra cap space play a role in finding Denver's next franchise signal caller? We all know that elite quarterbacks don't come cheap. If the Broncos decide to make a move for a veteran, whether via trade or free agency, having additional financial flexibility is crucial. It allows them to absorb a contract or structure a deal in a way that minimizes immediate cap hits. Even if they choose to draft a QB, surrounding that young player with top-tier talent will require spending wisely in free agency. The reality is that not every team can maneuver the cap as effectively as Denver can. Some franchises simply don't have the financial backing or ownership philosophy to operate this way. That's why teams like the Eagles and Browns consistently find ways to remain competitive, even when dealing with expensive contracts. They understand how to manipulate the system, and now, the Broncos are in a position to do the same. The real losers in all of this are the teams that refuse to adjust. Take the Cowboys, for example. Every year, Dallas enters free agency with a cautious approach, rarely making big splashes. While other teams capitalize on available talent, the Cowboys prefer to rely on their draft picks and avoid major financial commitments. That strategy has kept them competitive, but it has also led to years of missed opportunities. This shift in financial dynamics across the league is only going to become more apparent as the cap continues to rise. The more money the NFL brings in through streaming deals and international games, the more cap space teams will have. And as we've already seen, not every franchise is equipped to handle that growth in the same way. The Broncos, however, are ready. Their ownership group has already proven they're willing to invest in winning. Their front office has shown a willingness to be aggressive. And now, with this added cap space, they have even more opportunities to build a contender. So Broncos country, what do you think? Which free agents should Denver go after? Should they prioritize the defensive line, offensive line, or maybe even make a splash at quarterback? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it. Sean Payton is building something special in Denver, and all eyes are on Bo Nix as the potential franchise quarterback to lead the Broncos into the future. With Payton's championship experience and offensive genius, Denver has a real chance to return to Super Bowl contention. Super Bowl 60 may seem far away, but with the right development, Nix could be the key to getting the Broncos back to the biggest stage. His talent, combined with Payton's ability to maximize quarterbacks, creates excitement for what's ahead. If Nix adapts quickly and the Broncos build around him with smart free agent signings and strong draft picks, Denver could become a serious contender in the AFC. Broncos country has been waiting for a new era of success, and this could be it. Will Payton and Nix be the duo that brings the Lombardi Trophy back to Denver in Super Bowl 60? Let us know. Do you believe this is the start of something special?